right, let's see. Get myself situated here, trying to keep my eyes out of the sunshine. Good morning, good morning. 8 o'clock, I made it. Hopefully, actually, you know what? It could be perfect timing. There's a little bit of suburban, the symphony of suburbia, as I like to say. The people across the street have somebody who is mowing the lawn and doing the whoosh, 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 and the zuba, 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 if anybody ever watched Sesame Street. Using the leaf blower or the grass cutting blower, and it was like vrr, 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 and I was like, oh man, I don't want it to be loud while I'm doing my TikTok live. Sounds like they might be at the tail end of the suburban lawn type stuff. So good morning. Good morning, Kerry. Good morning, Cat Mama. Good morning, Jay Ellis. It is crazy. I don't know if this is the same where you are, but I will share with you that the weather has changed. The weather has changed where I am. I noticed this week especially, maybe because we were away last week, but this to me is like the shoulder of the summer where you start to go down into fall. It's stopped being hot, and now you can definitely feel that. Actually, a client I was working with earlier this week talked about that kind of back to school vibe, that it's a little bit darker in the morning, a little bit cooler. It takes a little bit longer to warm up and still pretend it's summer. And that changing of the season often makes me kind of look around and kind of shift gears as far as what I'm doing. I have gotten back in the habit again of taking my morning walks because it's so not god awful hot. Maybe you're doing something different. Maybe this is showing up on your FYP because I'm a decluttering life coach, and I am here to help you kind of change and do the things that you aren't doing right now. Now, the cool thing is the way I describe it and the way I implement it myself, to sound all fancy, in my own life, doesn't just work with my clutter, but it works with so many other things in life. Anastasia is saying stuck in sunny Florida. Yeah. So again, as they used to say, like, your mileage may vary. Where I am, it's starting to get a little bit cooler. I live in a place, I'm from Mass originally, but I live in PA now, and we have seasons. So the weather definitely has an effect on what I do and when I do it and how I do it. As I said, it's easier to get out, and literally it's going to be easier for me to like do some outdoor decluttering, maybe pulling some weeds or getting some stuff out of the garage or even in the basement, knowing that it's not so hot out. Also, I love the summer, and I think the summer is time for, kicking back and having some fun. But maybe this is the way I grew up because, it's like, okay, summer's over, now we're going back to school. Now we're like, okay, that was fun, but let's shift gears and let's do something different. So I show up here for you, Beth, Decluttering Life Coach, to help you kind of shift those gears. Maybe you have some clutter and you've got to deal with it, but you haven't dealt with it because it was summer and you were having fun and it was too hot and yada yada. But now maybe it's a little bit different. Or maybe just the season in your own body is like, I don't want to live like this anymore, and I do want to live uncluttered. So maybe I'm just showing up for you at the exact right time. Maybe not, though. Maybe you're not convinced. Not that I convince anybody. Convincing is lousy. Maybe you don't see the benefits of decluttering. I don't know. I freaking love it. You know why? Because I'm basically a lazy person. I am. Even though I do a lot. I should have brought a coaster out with me. I'm a lazy person. I don't want to spend my life cleaning my house. I don't want to spend my life always picking up stuff and putting it away. I don't want to be taking my vacations and thinking, oh, I can't go on vacation because we have to clean out the garage. No. What I love to do is, and I'll share this with you right off the top of right off the bat, is doing a little bit at a time is a game changer. I like to think of it as this. So I'm in my late 50s. I just turned 58, so I'm like elder stateswoman for Gen X. And I think of all of the things I've accumulated in the decades that I've been around. even if I only picked up one item in every year since whatever, I was 15 or something, or 18, let's make it 18. That's 40 items. If I saved 40 t-shirts, that's quite a bit. Yeah. And things accumulate. If you don't deal with them, they do accumulate. And sometimes you don't notice it until there's too much. It's kind of like a pound. Whoa, I can't fit into my pants, And so clutter's the same way. It can creep up on you. You don't realize it because you haven't changed your habits of, putting things away or letting things go or bringing things in. It's a whole process. And I share this with you because maybe you didn't even, maybe you're just at a point in your life, that it seems like now is the time. It wasn't it earlier, but now maybe I'm shifting gears. Maybe I'm looking ahead and I'm seeing retirement. Maybe my kids are aging. Maybe I just had kids and I don't want them to live in a cluttered home like I did. There's so many ways that there can be a shift, a change of season in your own brain, in your own life. Maybe you have to move. Maybe you want to move. Maybe you're sick of the cold weather and you want to move to sunny Florida. Or, as Anastasia says, she remembers the seasons in California, So there could be an external reason for you to want to declutter. There could be an internal reason. Whatever reason it is that's saying, I don't like it how it is and I want to do something about it. That's where I show up. Hey, if you want to change it, I'm here. I can totally help you. I love this. The benefits of decluttering make you feel relaxed and accomplished. Who doesn't want to be relaxed and accomplished? As I said, I did a video. I'm always doing videos, but it's like, if you've got a problem, I'll solve it. Don't you want to feel that, I solved my problem. I solved my problem. I had a problem and I did something about it and I changed it. That's a really cool thing. Hey, me, Ellen. I'm glad to join you on your walk. I'm glad to join you on the walk. And I just took a walk myself. Now, I love taking a morning walk. And it's crazy, again, thinking I'm all about the seasons changing, because this morning when I got up for the walk, it wasn't as sunny as it normally was. We had the windows open as opposed to the AC, and I had to put on, it's tied around my butt now because I got warm when I was walking, but I put on a hoodie. You guys, it's almost Beth wearing a hoodie season again, But there we go. It's me, Deb says, good morning. 4 bags on the porch for Green Dot. Pick up right now. Boom, I'm giving you a high five. I'm giving you a Liz Lemon high five. Awesome. Okay. User 4002 is saying, maybe my house is a mess. Yeah, maybe your house is a mess. And I don't say that as a judgy thing. You're the one who called it a mess. But if you like it a mess, keep it a mess. Cool. I'm not going to, I don't judge. But if you say your house is a mess and you don't like it, that's when I might be able to be beneficial to you. But you have to be ready and willing. I don't convince anybody. I've tried and it just doesn't work. My mother, when my dad passed, so my dad passed like almost 14 years ago, and my parents were always cluttery, always, both of them, the two of them. We used to joke that, the whole thing about expanding to fill the space you have. Now, they had their reasons for being cluttery. It took my mother 10 years after my dad had passed to finally say it's not his fault because he's not here anymore, but there's a lot of clutter in the house and I need some help with it. Every year for 10 years, I'd be my mom, I'm good at this. I will come up to Massachusetts. I love you. I will totally do this. You just let me know when you're ready. She wasn't ready year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then she noticed that even without my dad there, the clutter was accumulating. So she said to me about 4 years ago, it was just around this time of year. She said, yeah, I think I could use some help. Boom, here I am. So for a good year plus, and still to this day, I go up to Massachusetts. For a year, I went every month. And then I kind of got backed off of that because I needed to, she was in a good place. And we worked through the decades of clutter in her house. Now, I will say this to you right now. I don't go to your house, though. I'll go to my mother's house, but I don't go to your house. But the same principles. I am technically in your house. And especially if I'm your one-on-one coach, when you have me and I'm just talking to you and not hundreds of people on a TikTok Live, because I do paid one-on-one coaching. But the principles that I use, the system that I use, the thought process, the steps that I use to declutter my own home and my own life, that I love, I freaking love, And what I helped my mom with is what I help you with. Okay? Kathleen is asking, Kathleen with a C, my mother is Kathleen with a K. How do you declutter clothes? It's so hard. I would ask you, why? Why do you think it's so hard? Because that's when I know. I can tell you steps to, well, you do this and you do this and you do this. Let's get to the part that's hard for you. When you think of decluttering clothes, what do you picture, or what's the phrase in your head that says, why is it hard? You know? I will share, I've been wearing the same pair of like olive green kind of army pant-esque capris for the past 3 years. They are getting kind of ratty, but I love them. They're comfortable-ish. I feel like they've shrunk. I haven't grown, they've shrunk. Yesterday I realized that the waistband was kind of coming apart. So I'm like, crap, these things that I love are worn out. I got to go buy a new pair. So maybe you look at the quality of your clothes. Maybe they're looking kind of ratty. You've got like a grease stain here that you can't get out no matter what. Maybe there's a hole in the knee where you tripped and fell when you were down in Florida. That was me. But we start where you are. Okay? Now, I love this. Good morning, Wa and all. Gabby says, I've been decluttering one room per week for the last few weeks. This is my favorite part, and it feels great. Now, I was doing the little Tony the Tiger thing, but this is why I show up and continue to work in the space. If people said, yes, I did this and it feels crappy, I would not. I would be like, I'm doing something wrong. I want you to feel good, and I want this to be easy and fun. Feeling good, easy, fun, and looking better. Those are the reasons I show up to do this. I could do other things with my life, but I love helping with clutter, because when people say what I'm doing is making me feel better, I know I'm on the right track, you know? Okay, Jess from LA. This is Beth from Destination Decluttered, aka Romper Room. Jess, good morning, Jess from LA. We had a wonderful visit in Los Angeles. Can't wait to go back again. We were there last week, and you're welcome for me sharing my words of wisdom, you know? Okay, Rose and Justin are saying, good morning, Christine from Maryland. I'm in PA. I'm just your northern border here. Okay, Rose and Justin is saying two good things that may go through your head too. When you are struggling, the struggle, the tension. Notice a struggle is a tension between one thing and another. Notice tension is, I want to get rid of it, but I don't want to get rid of it. Notice it's kind of a battle. It's a push me, pull you between which should I stay or should I go? Which direction do I go into? Notice there's a tension that clutter creates because you've got two kind of opposing thoughts. I want to get rid of this, but I can't because I might use it. I want to get rid of this, or I can't because I paid for that. Okay, so everybody, we pretty much have paid for most of the stuff in our house. No matter how much you pay for it, you have paid for it. You will never get your money back. As soon as you take something home, unless you have the receipt and you haven't used it, and you can return it to a store. And trust me, don't get me wrong, I work with one-on-one clients, and one-on-one clients have said to me, I have been able to return things that I bought that I never even used and I still have the receipts for. So that's really the only way you can get your 100% value back. If you don't have your receipt, you get maybe a gift card or a discount or whatever. So the notion of I purchased it, therefore I can't get rid of it, is going to set you up for being surrounded by stuff you don't want. What I want to say to you is, how much would you pay to feel better in your home? Is you hanging on to this thing that you paid for that's making you feel crappy, or else you wouldn't mention it to me, what's your feeling good? What's your peace of mind worth to you? Is it worth the $10? The $50? Would you pay $500 for peace of mind? If it's something that was a $500 thing, which clutter rarely is. Clutter sometimes is the pricey things, but clutter is a lot of times stuff that isn't that expensive. But notice right here when I'm talking about this, two thoughts. I might use it someday. Okay, you might. I don't judge, but why haven't you used it yet? And I don't say this in a judgy way. I ask you a question. This is how coaching goes. I pause and give you the space to listen to your own answer. Why haven't I used that rice cooker that I thought, or, what was it, the Instapot? It's always going to be my go-to. Well, we bought it and we thought we were going to make all these good foods with it, and we did for a while, but then we realized all it made was stews, and then it got warm out, and then we realized we don't like stews, so the novelty wore off of it, and now it's just sitting there. But we paid good money for it, so we keep it in case we might use it someday. That was an exact thing that happened to my husband and me. It took quite a while from him. I was ready to get rid of it because I'm like, nope, don't want it. I'm good like that. I have gotten better at making decisions to save myself the tension in my life, the stress. Notice this stress and tension is because of two things. I want to get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want any tension or stress in my life. So as soon as I recognize that something's not working for me, I can easily feel good about passing it along to somebody else. A thought in your head makes you feel a feeling. If you're thinking, I can't get rid of this because I paid money for it, but you don't also use the thing, you're going to create a feeling of tension. Your head says something, your heart feels something, your nervous system feels tense, and then you don't know what to do with your hand. Should I stay or should I go now? There we go. Blue Bottle Fine says, I'm going to start cleaning on my she shed and storage, which is collecting antiques. I want a system. Oh, honey, did you come to the right place? Because I freaking love a system. I love a repeatable system that you can say, whatever I do, I can follow these steps wherever I am in my house, whether it's my she shed, my garage, my attic, my basement, my bathroom, my kitchen, and I can use the same process over and over again. Again, I'm lazy. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to use the same thing over and over again. And it works. Kind of like using Windex all over the house. Okay? Here's what I want to offer to you. First of all, identify the clutter by this. Notice the stuff you absolutely love. That's not your clutter. Then notice the stuff that you absolutely don't even want, and it's so easy to say, nope, don't want it, and I can release it. Release that stuff. You've already made your decision. That stuff is like trash, recycling, stuff that is so easy for you to, you don't even have to think about making a decision. You look at it and you're like, nope, that goes. The clutter that tends to jam you up is the yellow light. Green light is, I love it, I'm keeping it. Red light is like, no, I don't want it. Yellow light. Notice when you're in traffic. When you are at a yellow light, there is tension there because you have to make a decision. Do I slow down and wait for it to turn red? Or do I speed through while it's yellow to get through to where I want to go? Notice you have to make a decision. Should I stay or should I go? The Clash. I owe you, Joe Strummer, I owe you a couple of bucks. All right? So instead of going through and starting with the hard stuff first, because the clutter is the hard stuff, make it easy on yourself. Go into any room and identify the stuff you love and the stuff you really can easily get rid of. That will clear the space that all you're left with is the stuff you don't know about. And that's where the decision making comes in, and that's where the thought process is. So when you go out to your stuff, I love this. Oh, interesting. Sia says, I've started looking at hanging on to things that I don't want as paying interest via peace and space. Yeah, you are getting those things literally and metaphorically. Your clutter is in the way of you having space because it's taking up space, and also getting in the way of you feeling peaceful in your home, because clutter creates tension. You know it is clutter because you look at it and you're like, ugh, I'm tense. Okay? So Blue Bottle finds your tension, your system. Identify what you love, and then identify what you don't love, and deal with those accordingly. Put the stuff you love maybe temporarily away, throw the stuff away you don't want, and then the yellow, the clutter, everybody. Each piece, you don't look at it as a whole, you pull out each category. Categorize your stuff. And there's a couple of things you can do here. You can say the quantity and quality. I always like to think about this. How many of these do I need, and which one is in the best condition? Do I need any of these? Do I want any of these? And allow yourself the space and time to process your feelings about your stuff, and walk yourself through the process. Well, I don't really like it, but that lady I worked with gave it to me, and I feel guilty if I let it go because she thought I'd like it, but I never really liked it. You'll know clutter when it has a story behind it like that. That keeps you stuck. Now, when's the last time the lady you worked with comes over your house? Well, never. Would somebody else in the world love to have that thing? Oh, hell yeah, I know somebody else will enjoy this thing much more than me. Okay, Those two things help make it easier for me to release it. Okay? Hopes that helps. Yeah. Cat Mama brought some stuff to the Goodwill yesterday. Clothing with tags still on. Can you imagine how excited somebody's going to be to go to the Goodwill and find stuff with tags still on? Record albums, mugs, etc. Awesome. Cat Mama, you are doing an awesome job. I love that you show up and I show up, and every time I show up, I know you are doing good stuff, cleaning out your mom's house. Now, I bring the cleaning out the mom's house thing because some of us may be there. I know I'm going to go up to my mother's house in about a month, and I'm going to spend a day in her attic because there's still more shit in the attic. Your parents may have passed, and you may have inherited their stuff. Maybe they cleaned out, the method of cleaning out their house was to dump everything in your house. Or maybe, you guys, this always freaks me out to realize, maybe we are the age, maybe you are a parent, and you're looking at your stuff, and you're looking at your kids going, I don't want my kids to have to clean out this stuff. I don't want to live like this anymore, and I don't want my kids to have to clean this out. Okay? All right. So yeah, Rose and Justin, noticing the stress that your things can bring you versus the peace. You look at something you like and you say, oh, I love that. No tension. There is tension between the stuff you want and the stuff you don't want. And when you're in limbo, the tension, you're not falling over and you're not standing up straight. You're in limbo. Everybody go into the limbo thing. That can be tension. I literally, the phrase that was going to come out of my mouth is shit or get off the pot. Like if you fall down or stand up. But staying in limbo can be freaking exhausting. Okay? Yeah, and I'm glad you like the traffic light analogy, Sia. Because here's the deal. That makes a lot of sense to me. And the stuff that makes sense to me, I like to explain things. This is what helps me learn things easily. And again, I'm lazy and easy. I want to be like, oh, I get it. Versus like, well, you know, it's really your id and your ego and your beliefs and your belief system and your thoughts and your fear. Blah, blah, blah. I hate kind of jargony talk or even fancy talk. Makes people feel smart. But I think the real talent is to be able to explain something difficult in very simple terms so you get it. And to me, it makes sense to use a driving motif because I'm looking at my car right now, a road trip motif because we've all been on road trips or want to get onto it. And so thank you for letting me know it works because I do that myself. I look at something in my house and I say, how does that make me feel? And if it makes me feel like a bit of a tension, I say, okay, if I get a problem, I'll solve it. I will do something about that. And it can be something like the tension of dirty dishes in the sink. Ooh, I don't like that feeling. I prefer to look at an empty sink. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take the dishes and put them in the dishwasher, or I'm going to wash them by hand, you know? So notice that clutter just adds crap to your life. Bad feelings, tension, stress. Who needs stress and tension? There's enough going on in your life and in the planet that you can't control that brings you tension. You can control your clutter. And when you do that and you learn that you can change something about something that gives you tension, you can apply that to other areas of your life. Okay, so good morning from Toronto. Erin in Toronto, check you out. Crossing the border. Okay, Sia says, sometimes I don't, this is a good one. I will talk about this. Sometimes I don't trust myself about whether I might need something. Can I talk about that? Yes. Trust is huge. Trust is a huge part of us making ourselves feel safe. Notice that the opposite of trust is going to be fear. I don't trust myself because I am afraid, fear, it's in the sentence, I am afraid that I am going to give something away, and then I'm afraid that in the future I might need or want that thing. Now, this is when you get to know yourself. And sit with yourself and hang out and walk through the process. Sia, think of a specific item that brings up this thing so you can get specific. And you may not be able to do this on the call while I'm talking with you. But I say just look at that thing and just have a conversation with yourself. Do not judge yourself. Oh my God, I can't believe I bought that 20 years ago and I still haven't used it. That's judgy. Instead, say, oh, isn't this interesting? I bought that 20 years ago and I've never used it. What does that tell me about myself in the past 20 years? That I'm not the kind of person who uses a crock pot. or a fondue pot or free weights or I thought I was going to be the person who did that. So I bought it. Then I bought it, or I got it, and then I didn't use it. Why didn't I use it? It just didn't fit in with who I was. Do I want to use it today? No, not really. Might I use it in the future? Well, you know what? If I haven't used it in the past and I don't want to use it today, I probably won't use it in the future. Now, notice this takes a little while. You're having a convo with yourself. Do you feel good about now releasing that? Also think of, if you need that thing, whatever it is, could you borrow one from somebody? If you haven't used it in 20 years, somebody else probably has one. Okay? Then feeling good with your decision. If you're not feeling good about your decision, hold off on making that decision. But don't avoid talking through it. At least get to that point and still say, you know what, I don't know. That's how I was with my husband and remember that kid's book? My Husband and the Crock Pot? No, it's My Husband and the Instapot. He was like, no, I really think we're going to use it. I really want to try. Before we give it away, I want to at least make a few things with it. And I was like, okay, cool. Then use it. He still didn't use it. That's okay. I put a date on it. And I said, okay, use by this date. We didn't use it by that date. And then he's like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I'm not going to use it. Now you can go give it to the thrift store across the street. And we did. It can take a while. Begin to trust yourself. That's big. That's a U-turn. That's you going, instead of looking out there, you do a U-turn and say, what's going on in here? Okay? I hope that helps you. Okay? Kim Jenner. I bought a huge bag load of stuff to the Goodwill and gave stuff away on neighborhood free pages. Success. Awesome, lady. That's rocking. I love that what you and I worked with when we were client and me, coach. I'm so psyched to hear that what we did while our time together is still with you. Because here's the thing I love about coaching and the way I do it. It's not just about what happens when you and I are in sessions together. It's what happens in between, and then long after I am out of the kind of passenger seat. You know how to drive, and you go and practice it. So awesome. The Nut 4 says, should I donate to a women's shelter instead of a Goodwill? Notice you're asking me to make a decision for you. I want to encourage you to get comfortable with your decisions. God, it's loud out here. I might move. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me okay, just give me like a thumbs up or yes, I can hear you. There's a lot of distraction behind me. What I want to say, the nut for, is what do you want to do? Oh, now it's quieted down. What do you want to do? Do you want to give it to the Goodwill, or do you want to give it to the women's shelter? Learn to trust your judgment. Learn to trust yourself. In the grand scheme of things, honestly, for me, it doesn't matter where you donate it. Not to me. It doesn't matter to me. It might matter to you. Okay? So Barbie says, no kids. I really don't want my nieces and nephews to deal with it. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Oops. Hit the wrong button. Hit the wrong button. There we go. Okay, no distractions. Thumbs up. Okay, thank you, you guys. It's just me. I am very sensitive to noise. Ironically, I married a man who makes noise, music for a living, but boy, do I like silence. Okay. Yeah. And actually, I love this. That one persona. We're good, but what do you want to do? What's best for you? You know what? For me right now, I like being outside. It's kind of dark in my house, and so I will stay out here. I can put up with this because I enjoy being out here. Okay? So good to know that there's no distraction. Okay? Yeah. Putting a Boston sports girl. Yeah, putting a due date, because you guys, how the frick did it get to be mid-August of 2024? Do you remember when I was doing TikTok lives, January 1st, and I was like, what do you want to get, do you want to get decluttered this year? That was like 8.5 months ago. So time goes by like that. So remind yourself, give yourself 6 months. What's 6 months from now? It's going to be February of next year. Anything you're not sure of, give yourself till the end of the year. If I don't use this by December 31st, and you get some painter's tape and a Sharpie, this is going to expire. If I haven't used it, if I haven't eaten that thing in my cupboard, that's why those expiration dates can be helpful. If I haven't eaten this by December 31st, it's going in the trash. If it hasn't been opened, and if I haven't opened it and I haven't used it by a certain time, I'm letting it go, and I'm going to learn not to buy that thing again. Okay? Learning about yourself. Okay? I love this. Lizardo says, I finally tackled my clutter yesterday thanks to me. You're so helping me. Awesome. Love you. Rock on, lady. I love it too. Now, I work with one-on-one clients all the time, and I see them popping up in here. I do this, but also the cool thing is just showing up, me just showing up and doing this is helping people I don't even know. Now, the reason I mention that is because I do this because I feel good about my clutter situation. I have gone through this. I'm not just showing up as somebody who's always been, neat and tidy and saying, you should do this, you should really do this. No, I've been through that journey, and I am on the other side. I am at the destination. My house is not cluttered for the most part. I keep it maintained. It feels so good. And when it feels good in my house, I feel good. And when I feel good, I do good. And you know what I do is the way I feel good and the way I help is by coaching and showing up and doing TikTok lives. It has a positive ripple effect. When you feel good, you're going to ripple effect it. When you don't feel good, you're going to kind of curl into a ball and you're going to smell like you don't feel good too. So I say this as encouragement to you. When you feel better in your home, you're going to feel better elsewhere in your life. You're going to do things. You're going to smile more. You're going to be more easy about letting stuff go. You're going to be saying, no, I don't need that because it's just going to add to my clutter and I can let it go. And then you're going to show up better in the world when you're decluttered. This is what I say, and I love this. Cat Mama is saying, I'm trying to clean as if I am moving. Okay. So I love that. I did that myself. Usually when I do my TikTok lives in the house, if it's not on the weekend, in the weekend I like to be out in the house because I'm in my office all day. But my office used to be a hot mess of clutter. And during COVID, because we were stuck in the house, we realized that my office had never been painted in the 15 years we had been at the house at that point. So we moved everything out of the room in order to paint it. Now, when we did that, I realized I didn't want to put that clutter in anymore. So I got strategic about what I wanted. And I said, if I were moving into this house, if I were moving into a house in Palm Springs, California, what would it look like? And so there is very little in that room. It's a little bit slightly uncluttered, a little bit slightly too empty for me. It's not at my just right point, but I know that there's stuff that's going to come to me. I want to leave space to still acquire things, not accumulate, but acquire things that have meaning to me. So I have left space in my house and walls for artwork that I know is going to come down the pike. I don't want to just throw something up there I bought at Home Goods just to make it look good to other people. I want it to feel right to me. So I say this as, an encouragement. That using that idea of what if I moved? What would I keep with me if I moved? You'd really identify the stuff you love. I was thinking about this today when I was on my morning walk. We have no intention of moving. We don't need a bigger house. We could actually go for a smaller house and still live in it fine. But we love where we are and our house. So we're not going to be moving. But I will say this. If an opportunity in the future came that we were moving, so much of the stuff that we have right now would not come with us. Because I've already kind of distanced myself from it and realized that it's just kind of decorating and taking up space. So use thoughts in your head that might encourage you to say, if I were moving to my Barbie dream home, what would I want to decorate my dream home with? Not just moving from place A to place B, but what do I want my dream home? Would this decorate my dream home? Or is this just kind of something left over from before? Yes, deadlines really help. Lizardo, my health limits me on pain level. I set 15-minute alarm and took short breaks before tackling the clutter. Thank you for showing up and letting people know that you can do these things. I set my timer all the time. Funny thing is I'm looking for it in the pockets on my yoga pants, and I'm talking into my timer. It's my phone, Yeah. Okay. Jay, what I will offer, and this is where it came out, I try to clean as if I'm moving. Know this, when you move, it's going to happen, so just be prepared for it and be cool with it. When you move, unpack your things organically in a way that you're unpacking the things that you use on a daily basis first. Allow yourself to notice what you're not unpacking. You will have a due date. You will have a start date as to when all those boxes came in your house. Notice the ones you don't unpack for the longest time. that's an indication that you really don't need them to live the life you're living. So get prepared, and this is totally okay, and this should be expected, to do a declutter when you're in your house for the first 6 months to the year. Because what you're doing is you're learning what you need in this house and in this life and what you don't need. So you may overestimate. We overestimated the stuff we needed when we moved into this house because the fear of knowing, what if I get rid of it and then I realize I might need it in the new house? Okay, hedge my bets, bring it with me. But once you're there, how many lamps do you need? How many couches do you need? Do you really need all of that stuff that you brought with you? The answer is probably no. All right? Hey, Alora from Kansas. I don't think I have a client from Kansas, so welcome. Kansas gets bonanzas from the rain. Okay? Alicia's got 8 bags going out for donation today. Thank you so much. You're welcome, but also right back at you. I'm not the one who's putting the stuff in the bags and bringing them for donations. You are doing it. You had a problem and you have the power to solve it. So rock on with your bad stuff. You know, doing ASMR is saying, I've been decluttering. Oops, it just zooped past me. This is what happens sometimes. I've been decluttering every room 5 days a week since May and only one more room. It feels good. Cue the James Brown. It feels so good, you guys. Yeah, a little bit every day is always going to be better than trying to do a whole bunch at once. Can you imagine going to the gym and saying, instead of going for an hour every day or 15 minutes a day to do the gym, let's just say that. Instead of doing 15 minutes a day for 7 days, I'm going to do 3.5 hours on one day. Can you even imagine? That would get you bound up and then you'd be in bed for 3 weeks. A little bit at a time. Instead of I'm going to just have one meal of the day. It's going to be all my calories. No, a little bit at a time. Spacing it out to fit your energy because your body, your nervous system, your brain, your body need to recuperate from it. So doing 15 or 20 minutes gets you close. 15 minutes gets you close, as opposed to driving straight on through. Okay? Okay, so Sharon, this is a really interesting thing. I am afraid of getting rid of something because I think people make money off of it. So I ask you, and I'm curious about your answer. What is wrong with people making money from stuff that you do not want? Why shouldn't they make money off of the stuff you want? Or don't want, rather. I used to make money from stuff people didn't want. I would go thrifting. I would buy stuff that I knew was worth more than the thrift store asked. I sold the stuff on eBay, and I had a shop, and I set up a 10 by 10, and I would have garage sales. I see there's nothing wrong with that. But you obviously, and I say this, I don't mean to sound judgy, but you obviously do. What is wrong with somebody else taking the time to sell the things that you just don't want to take the time to sell? What's the fear that somebody's getting something you don't have? Just get curious about your answer, okay? Monica is saying, we had to declutter because we have a visitor. Oh, external obligations, external motivators, totally get me stepping up my game. Somebody is coming to my house and they're coming on a certain date. 2 rooms full of stuff, but I guess we'll start there. You could start there, yeah. You know, you could start in the places where your friends are going to go and feel good about how you're decluttering those common areas, you know. Notice where you want to start. It doesn't really matter where you start. It just matters that you start. So if you're not starting, it doesn't matter where you do it. So you can eliminate that. Why are you not starting? You know? All right, Pam is asking, how do you help a family that has extreme clutter issues when a small child is involved? Now, it sounds to me, the way you phrased it, that this is not your home, but it is somebody else. And it's somebody else you want to help. I kind of said at top of the hour, and oh my God, I've already been here for 40 minutes. Might as well reintroduce myself. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I'm here on TikTok, like my TikTok page. I have a mailing list. If you want to get on that, destinationdecluttered.com. We have a group Zoom call this week, Thursday night, free group coaching. And also I do one-on-one paid coaching with clients for a 10-session program. That's on my website. But how do you help a family? Here's the deal. I love that you want to help somebody when you see them struggling. This is why I'm a coach. I see it all the time. That's why I turned into a coach. They have to be willing and ready and wanting the help. You can offer with love in your heart, not judgment. This is where I feel like I got to use my hands. I'm putting down my teacup. On the one hand, you're going to have fear, and on the other hand, you're going to have love. Under the umbrella of fear, ooh, look at me, I'm under the umbrella of fear. There's a lot of words that are associated with it that don't make you feel good. One of them is being judgy, judgment. Don't judge them like, oh, you're so cluttered. Oh my God, you should totally get help with that. Totally judgy. Same words under the umbrella of love is going to be compassion. It's going to be love. It's just going to be love. You show up and say, I love you so much. I see you're struggling. I see you're struggling with clutter. How can I help? Would you like some help? And allow the decision to be theirs. There's a bit of pride. Pride gets in the way of a lot of stuff. Don't be too proud to beg. Ain't too proud to beg, sweet darling. They may be embarrassed. They may be ashamed. They may feel like they're being judged. They have a lot of stuff that may keep them from getting your help. But if you just plant the seed, this is what I do all the time. I'm like Betty Appleseed. I plant the seed. If you ever need help, if you ever want help with your clutter, I can help you. And if you don't really know how to declutter, you know what you do, Pam? You get in touch with me and we together will help them. Okay? Because I can tell you how to help them and then you can go help them. Okay? That's how you do it. Again, at the top of the hour, when I started this, I told the story of my mom convinced that all the clutter in the house was my dad's fault and she was fine until my dad passed 14 years ago. It took her 10 years to admit she couldn't do it by herself. Finally, 4 years ago, she said, you know what, I would like some help. Boom. As soon as, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I am the freaking teacher. I don't want to be that bald guy from Kung Fu. I don't know. I'm going to be somebody cooler than that. I'll figure out who it is. Some pop culture reference. But what I will say this is you got to be ready and willing to do it. If you are saying, I am ready and I just don't know what to do, then I can be your coach. If you're saying, nah, I'm good, that's cool. I'm not going to convince you that you need coaching. But when you say, I'm ready and I want this so bad, I just don't know what the frick to do, think about it. I'm looking at my car right now in the driveway. Think about you wanting to learn how to drive, you wanting to drive a car, wanting to be able to drive a car, but you don't know how because nobody ever taught you. Or maybe they taught you, but you're turning and careening into trees or something, and you can't drive a standard, so you're getting stalling out all the time. Paying somebody to help you learn a skill, there is nothing wrong with that. Decluttering is a skill. The way I coach, and you heard it, I have Kim up the thread, said, oh my God, I'm getting rid of so much stuff. Kim and I worked together in the spring. The stuff that she learned from me, the skills she learned from me in the spring, continue on with her for the rest of her life. So that's why I'll be honest with you, I feel so good about charging money for my one-on-one coaching because I know I show up differently when I'm paying for something. That's why I sign up for yoga classes, because I know that if it's free, I'm not going to do it. I don't go. I used to during COVID when I couldn't. I used to do yoga on YouTube and stuff like that. Now that I don't do it. If I want to do it, I pay somebody for accountability and I sign up for a class and I show and I paid my money and I go. That helps me show up. Money helps me show up. That may be a thing that helps you show up too, you know? And you treat things you pay for differently. You know this because you've got stuff that's cluttered where you say, I don't want to get rid of this because I paid a lot of money for it. You value things you pay money for. I want people to value my coaching and take it seriously because it does require you to change your habits. But man, I want you to think of coaching, and I don't mean to go on kind of a coaching thing, but I just want to share with you. Coaching is a wonderful investment. Think about an investment, not just it's an investment in your future. An investment pays dividends. A television set, something you take off a box of stuff that you buy on the shelf at Target You buy it, you spend your money for it, your money is done. You will never get, you'll get some benefits. Like I'll watch the $1,000 TV or the 14,000, the $40,000 car, but you'll never get your money back. An investment, on the other hand, is something you put money into and then you reap the benefits for the rest of your life because you've invested that money, and as long as you use those skills, you reap the benefits from it. Okay? So I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but it just felt organic and sincere, so I do it. Okay? Let me do this. Boop. Let me catch up with some of these things. Okay. Yesterday, I finally realized that I'll cycle between planning and the actually decluttering. Yeah, you got to make a plan. It's like a road trip. You got to spend some time mapping out your plan, planning out your map, and then you follow the map, and then you drive. And then you say, okay, I'm here. Where do I want to go from here? I don't know. Let me make a map. And then you make the plan, you make the map, and you go from there. Wonderful. I love that you're doing that. Yeah, TikTok user 1 says, if and when I move, possibly overseas, I will get rid of most of the things and minimal will go into storage. Okay, TikTok user now, what I want to offer to you is, what is stopping you from doing that right now? Why not pretend you're going to move and use it as an excuse to get rid of the clutter? Not get rid of all the good stuff, but the clutter. Could you say, if we were moving, would I keep this? If I was moving overseas, something I'm excited to do. Why not upgrade your life and feel better in your house now? Okay? Yeah. Okay. There we go. I am going to start getting rid of stuff. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. When you're hanging on to stuff you don't want, it's like hanging on to a dog poop. Okay? You don't want it, but you're still hanging on to it. Let that shit go. Literally. Or it's like a hot coal of anger. It's all you're doing is stinking up your hand. Go, release the stuff that you don't want, wash your hands, put some ice on it, then you'll feel better. Okay? I love your TikTok. Thank you, Sharon. I like doing them too. So I have fun. If I didn't have fun with it, you guys, I wouldn't show up. And I want you to think of that with decluttering too. I want you to have fun doing it. Yeah, Jeannie for Jeannie says, decide if the time and effort it takes to sell it is worth it versus the value of having time for other things. Yeah. I used to enjoy selling stuff and buying things. That was fun to me until it wasn't, until I was like, this is no fun anymore. And once it's no fun, I realized I don't want to do it. And then I forced myself to do stuff that's not fun. My God, I was in corporate America for 11 years. Notice when things are not fun and do something different. Diana says, good morning, Beth. You have the best advice. I love your content. Thank you. I hope you have liked my TikTok page and at least gotten onto my mailing list, destinationdeclutter.com. All right. Aw. And see, Kim is even saying, Kim, I didn't realize you were still on. It took me 3 years of having my parents' estate in my garage before I got coaching to help get rid of it. German May was asking if that was Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid. No, I'm thinking of the, yes, Grasshopper. I'm older than the Karate Kid Gen Xers, so I think of Kung Fu with David Carradine. I used to watch that on like Channel 56, so there we go. Yeah, Cat Mom is working on her mom's stuff too. You guys, we're the sandwich generation, okay? Everybody's a part of the sandwich. You're either the bread or the filling or the other bread on the other side. We're always the filling for ourselves. But think ahead. Do you have clutter? Maybe your house is not cluttered right now, but you see coming down the pipeline or the pike. Either of those. My mom is 83. She may live another 20 years. She may not. None of us know when we're going to leave this mortal coil. I actually have to call her because I texted her yesterday. She didn't answer. I hope she's okay. We never know when that is going to happen, but I know she's got a house full of stuff. I know I don't want that stuff in my house. So I know I need to make a plan for her stuff before I don't have a plan and then say, oh, here, come here, and I'll deal with it later. Doesn't work. Where are you in the sandwich of life? Do you want to live this? And I have stuff. I'm good with my stuff. If anything, I could probably pare down 5% or so, but I don't need to. I'm feeling good about where I am. But then I also say, okay, I'm good with what I have. But then I look in the next generation behind me, kind of, and I see my nieces and nephews just starting out in their late teens and 20s. I look at me as then becoming the old person in this scenario, which is so weird because I'm Gen X and we're forever young, like Alphaville. And or was that aha? I can't remember. Regardless, I don't want to be the old person shackling somebody else with my stuff. So I'm already making a plan for my stuff for when I'm gone. I'm enjoying my stuff right now. I'm not going to empty out my house just for them. I say the same thing with my mother. Like, I know that, she's going to, I'm going to get her china. Now, I could take it now, but then she's going to have an empty corner cupboard. That's going to look weird. But the thing is a plan has been made. So notice where you are in the continuum of these things and who you want to be. Okay? Hopes that helps. All right. Yeah, see, a lot of people are working on their mom's stuff. My God, my mother. There's going to be so many books on the front yard, in the front yard for free when she's gone. All right. Yeah, I love this. Annoying ASMR says, I've noticed that my house is cute. It was under clutter and I couldn't see it. Yeah, you kind of fall in love with your house again. If you ever was in love with it to begin with. When you declutter it, you uncover it. It's like one of those before and afters, Yeah. Rose and Justin, I know why you're good at helping everybody, okay? I'm good at helping others, but not myself. I clean my mom's space and help families after passing. I'm good at that too, but I'm also good at my own stuff. And you know why? It's easy to help somebody else because you don't hear the stories that their things tell you. You pull out a pair of shorts from a closet. They're just a pair of wicked old kind of grungy shorts. You don't know that there's a story attached to those shorts. If that's the time when my waist was 24 and I was very skinny and I really loved being skinny and I hope to be skinny like that again. It's a direct quote from my mother. My mother is 83 years old. She wore these shorts in like 1979, okay? But the reason you have struggled with yourself is because you have stories about your stuff. You pull out a pair of pants and say, oh, I used to fit in those, but I don't anymore. I hope to someday, so I'm going to keep them. It's okay. Cluing into and listening to yourself. A lot of times people say, nobody listens to me. Do you listen to you? Do you listen to all the wonderful advice and info you have in you? Do you listen to the scared voice you have in you who's afraid to let go of stuff? Do you calm down that scared little kid who's saying, no, what if we need it? What if we need it? I'm afraid if we need it. Shh, it's okay. We got plenty of stuff here. Because you know why? Clutter is not the stuff you need. It's the stuff that's too much. It's the stuff that's piled on top of the stuff you need. Okay? Yeah. And notice, Alicia's saying, I'm trying to make a plan for my dad, but he has clutter and he's been difficult. You don't have to share the plan with them. Your plan for what you do with their stuff after they're gone is none of their goddamn business. Because they have a struggle with their stuff. Notice, we were talking before, and I love this, just thinking about tension and struggle, the push me pull you that's created by clutter. He has an idea, you have a different idea. There's going to be tension. Release the tension to say, no big deal, it's all good. I'll deal with it after you're dead. Okay? You can ask him, here's the thing, you can ask people what they would like to get done with their stuff. You can listen to them, but I will say this. This may sound controversial. You have no obligation to follow somebody else's wishes if they do not align with who you are. You can do something to honor them. I want you to keep this whole bedroom set. I love this. We paid a lot of money for this. You should have it. And you're like, I don't freaking want it. They're dead. You're not. Somebody else out in the world is going to love that bedroom set. Just wanted to drop that truth bomb right there. Kara is saying, wrapping up a son of decluttering, swimming, and hard work in Maine. Thanks for the info. Can you believe? Isn't it crazy? I feel like, Kara, you and I, when you were talking about going up to your place in Maine, was the beginning of the summer. Now, if it's feeling cool here in PA, I know in Mass and in Maine, it's going to be a lot cooler. It's getting darker out. We've got fewer months left for the year. Okay? Yeah. Rose and Justin, I don't listen to me. Listen to yourself. You have wisdom in you. I listen to me. I share my wisdom with me because I listen to me. And my wisdom is like, here, tell them this. Here, I think this is a good idea. I listen to me and I share it. And I also have my backseat drivers that I calm down. What if nobody loves me because I'm soft and I've gained weight? It's okay. They love you anyway. Okay. Kim Jenner, I'm kind of in the same point you are. So Kim is saying, and I bet you're not alone in this, and just so you know, we got about 5 minutes left, and we've got, just so you know, We've got like 2 weeks left in August. Then we've got September, October, November, December. In each one of those months, back to school is September, Halloween is October, Thanksgiving is November, and Christmas is December. If there isn't clutter that comes up during this season, I don't know what. That's the season to declutter. Just planting that seed. Kim, I'm doing the same thing. Kim is saying, I'm struggling to throw away very old family photos from the mid-1800s on. I don't even know them. Me too. I got these 2 giant photo albums from the 1800s from a cousin of mine who got them from a cousin of hers. And the cousin of hers isn't returning my calls. I don't know who any of these people are because nobody wrote the names of the people. Here's what I'm going to do, Kim. You might be able to find out some of these people by going on to Ancestry.com. That's what I'm going to do. That's my next step before I kind of pitch these things. Because if you don't write down, if there's no story attached to them, notice they just become things. You're like, I don't know if this is someone related to, or that was their best friend or a neighbor or something. Okay? Yeah, you can scan and share the old pictures, but if nobody knows who they are, they don't mean a lot to people. Without meaning, we are humans. We attach meaning to things. It's just some weird old guy with a handlebar mustache. Do your best. I would say do what you can to find out who they are. That's what I'm going to do. And if I find a way that will work, Kim, I will totally help you. But take the time to do that. But if nobody knows who they are, nobody ever will know who they are. Nobody in the future is going to know who they are because you right now in the present don't know who they are. So also, as Cat Mama says, write name pictures now. You know, and it teaches me, Kim Jenner just said, it teaches me to label all my photos. Yeah, and label the photos you want to keep. Start curating your photo collection for the few photos you want to represent your era, you in your family tree. This is going to sound morbid, but it's true. I had a cousin pass away. She was my best friend when we were little kids. She passed away unexpectedly last week. Curate the photos that you want to have on the screen PowerPoint when you're at your funeral. Do that for somebody else so you don't have to do it yourself. You know, sorry, I was getting confused, so I don't even know what I just said there. But do it now so you can choose the photos that represent your life. It's only going to be a handful. It's not going to be 87 pictures that are on, or 87,000 pictures that you took on your thing. It's going to be a handful of ones. And so get clear with those and write them down and say what year it is. Okay? Yeah, and it shocked me. We were out in California, and I wasn't checking my emails because we were out for the day, and we were driving home from something in between 2 things, and I get an email from my other cousin who's like, can you get in touch with me? I was like, fuck. Yeah. So what I say to you is none of us never know when we're going to leave this mortal coil. So do the things you want to do now. Get rid of the shit that doesn't matter and concentrate on what does matter to you. Okay? It's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to you. As I said to my husband, because we've had 4 people in the past 4 months that we know that haven't even made it into their 60s, that have passed. Once we get into our 60s, this is going to keep on happening. And thank you, everybody, for your condolences. I only share it because it's going to happen to us. Okay? Yeah. So use your own death as a motivator. What do I want my home to look like? How do I want to feel in my life before I die? And knowing that you don't know when it is, start now. Because if you start now, you may live to 104, but why wait until you're 90? How about living until getting it done when you're the age you are now, and then just freaking living in the life that you love, the home that you love? You know? Feeling good about where you're at. Okay? Yeah. Cat Mama says, I have wedding pictures of aunts and uncles I want to give to the cousins. Give them to the cousins. I'm going to go through a lot of this stuff now, and especially because here's the thing. I have space in my house that I can spread out these things. I have time in my schedule because I have decluttered my schedule to research the family tree and do these things and feel good about the next steps for these pictures. Okay? Actually, E-Rose is saying, have you ever thought of doing a podcast? Hell yeah. I am going to do a podcast. Now that we have traveled a lot and my husband got his CD out, now it is a different chapter in our lives and a different season. I am totally doing a podcast. I just have to figure out the machinations of it. But yes, I will totally do a podcast. And I will say this, the people who find out about the podcast first are going to be the people on the Destination Decluttered mailing list. It's a free mailing list. I don't know why you don't sign up, but I want to encourage you to do so because, boy, do you get a lot of spiffs, a lot of perks, a lot of behind-the-scenes things, okay? DestinationDeclutter.com, sign up for my mailing list. If you like what I'm doing and you're saying I am ready to get some help, some one-on-one paid coaching about this, you can also find out about that and sign up. Now, speaking of paid coaching, I need to sign off. I need to take a shower. I'm doing coaching. Then I'm tidying up my house because people are coming over. And then the people are coming over are taking some clutter from my house. And then I'm going to go help a friend remove some clutter from his house because his wife passed. Okay? This is my life. I love what I do. I want to help you if you're ready and open to help. Okay? I will see you tomorrow when I do a TikTok live at a time that I don't even know when it is, but the people on the mailing list know. Okay? See ya. Bye. I'm like, see ya, bye. I can never hit the button. There we go.